Hey, I'm Dave Rubin, and this is TYT140, a lot of news in a little time. The Obama administration is reportedly crafting an international climate change agreement to compel nations to cut carbon emissions. To avoid the need for congressional approval, the treaty will not be legally binding, but will, quote, name and shame countries that fail to cut emissions. By skirting the two-thirds Senate majority required to ratify all treaties, the president continues to infuriate congressional Republicans by using executive authority to pursue policy objectives. International negotiators plan to sign the agreement in 2015, or at roughly the same time President Obama's impeachment trial is expected to begin. Speaking of Republicans, audio recordings have surfaced featuring Republican Senate candidates praising conservative donors at a conference held by the Koch brothers. GOP candidates Joni Ernst of Iowa, Tom Cotton of Arkansas, and Cory Gardner of Colorado all thanked the conference's wealthy attendees for their support and suggested that outside donors will be key to Republican victories in November. Kudos to former TYT contributor Lauren Windsor of The Undercurrent for capturing the recording, even if it meant subjecting herself to a bunch of rich Republicans. Time Warner Cable customers nationwide woke up this morning to an alarming discovery: no internet. According to a company spokesman, service to Time Warner's 11.4 million residential broadband subscribers was disrupted while technicians conducted routine network maintenance. Service was reportedly restored within an hour and a half, or about the same length of time it takes for a caller to get through to a Time Warner customer service representative. Speaking of fuck-ups, ESPN has apologized for a SportsCenter report that centered on the showering habits of St. Louis Rams rookie and first openly gay NFL player Michael Sam. The negative response to the ESPN report was immediate, including a tweet from Rams player Chris Long that said, quote, "Everyone but you is over it." Still, other ESPN viewers were angered when they learned about the network's report on pro athletes' showering habits, but would not include an investigation of female tennis players. And finally, a Canadian man who is thought to have died in 1977 has turned up alive and living in the U.S. In September 1977, Ronald Stan was reported missing following a barn fire. The husband and father was officially declared dead by Canadian courts in 1986. In truth, Stan had fled from Canada, eventually settling in Oklahoma, where he had remarried and took an assumed name. Canadian officials remain unsure whether they will rescind the declaration of Stan's death, noting that many consider living in Oklahoma a fate worse than death. I'm Dave Rubin. Follow us on Twitter at TYT140 and suggest stories using hashtag TYT140. We'll see you tomorrow.